Hello everybody, today I'm going to show you, it's a quick tutorial, basically not as much as doing it, but showing and telling you how to do it yourself. It's a choker necklace. It's called a beaded drop down choker necklace because it will hang down but not too low. And what you're going to first need is a choker. Now this is about 15 gauge wire, so if you didn't want to get one of these and you'd rather make your own choker, you can do it. I'll explain. Let me make this light brighter. Well, maybe a little. So what you're going to do is you're going to find these chokers. Now you can find them at any craft store or Amazon and eBay. You can buy them in bulk. You can get a few of them. And this one has a ball that's removable, and then you see that hook, and all you do is latch it like that, and then that would go like that once you latch it. Okay, now to put the beads on it, this is a removable ball. Now to put the beads on it, this ball removes, and what you do is you unscrew it. See? So put this somewhere safe while you're beading your choker, because once you lose it, then you're going to have an issue. So put it in a container so it doesn't roll away from you and lose it. So once that's off, you can go ahead and bead it. Now you're going to want to know the sequence you're doing it in, otherwise you'll have to remove them all because you can't put a bead through this end. And you can't remove that, it's already hooked. So what you're going to do, now if you wanted to make your own, you can get a bead on one end and then put the bead in it and glue it using a clear glue. And then you can bend this, which is easy. You just make a hook and then bend it and don't close it all the way, and then make sure you can hook it like that. So, and these are typically 16 inches. Now if you have a wider neck, it might be better for you to make your own choker. Okay, or you can just bend them and then just hook the wires, or you can do a loop and attach a jump ring and then a clasp, and then on the other side make another loop and attach a big jump ring, and then this way you can just shut it with a clasp. So you can do that many different ways. The easiest way is, if you didn't need a wider choker other than 16 inches, is just to buy these. Like I said, they come in the craft stores anywhere from 3 to 6 in a package. You can get these online, probably 6 to 12 or more in a package. They also sell these with the two balls in the end that unscrew, and these don't latch. They just simply go like that and hang off your neck. But if you have some weight, it might pop off. So I don't know if I feel comfortable with these, but that's up to you, because if 16 inches is too tight, this kind of stretches. Okay? Oops, sorry, hit the camera. Okay, so like I said, you could buy a package of these at any craft store or online, Amazon, eBay, wherever you want. Get enough of them because you can make a lot of things on there. Okay, so let's get closer. So once you do that, you want to put your beads. Now I got all these assortment of beads with the oval. I'm just going to bring it here. With the oval ones. So with the oval ones, and what I did with these was I got these at Hobby Lobby. They were $9.99, but they're always on sale. They usually have sales at Hobby Lobby for 50 to 70% off, and you can also get a coupon. As long as there's no sale, you can use that coupon. And you get like these oval ones and these beads and a few other assortment of beads. If I could find a picture, it comes like in a long case, but I unboxed them already. So if I could find a picture, I'll insert it right here. And these also I got at Hobby Lobby. They come in a little package. You also are going to want to get these, and you can find whatever style you prefer. Okay, so you can get it at a craft store or wherever you want. So what I did was I found all the items that I wanted, and I got my wire. Try not to use too thin a wire when you're doing the beads because they'll tend to break. So I use just my 15 to 17 gauge wiring, and on this particular one, and what I did was I first got my choker and I put these separators first to see how I want to do them. Then I went by length. Now you want to keep in mind that this is going to fall right below your cleavage. So you don't want this vanishing in your cleavage if you're wearing something. If you're wearing a shirt that goes all the way up, then this will hang over your shirt and you're okay. But if you're wearing like a low-cut shirt or a spaghetti strap or whatever, this will fall down in your cleavage and it will hide if it's too long. This is great because it goes up just this much. So it's long enough, yet short enough that it's not going to get lost in your cleavage. So, all right. So that's why I did that. And so you want to hold it up once you do it before you bead everything and see how that falls. So you want to do the center one first. And what you're going to do is you're going to get your wire. You're going to make a loop at the end. You're going to make a loop at the end. And then you're going to put your spacer, your bead, your spacer, and then make another loop. Then you're going to attach a jump ring. Now in this particular one I didn't. I just connected the two ends, but you're better off with the jump ring because that's what I did on the other one that I'm going to show you in a minute, because otherwise it kinks up and it kind of bends if you don't do that, and it has better flow and sway in the dangling, more fluidity in the dangling way. So you want to do that. So what I did was I made a loop, and you want to use a jump ring between your beads. And see how I spaced it? These were two of these, because you don't want them so close that they're on top of each other, because they won't hang nice, they'll overlap. Just keep that in mind. And so what you're going to do is you're going to make a loop. You're going to use a jump ring for that. You're going to put your spacer, a bead, a spacer, and a different bead. Do your beads however you want. You notice how this one's different? It doesn't have a spacer above. Each one is different, and each one is shorter or longer. So keep that in mind when you're doing that. And then you're going to want to make a loop. Then you put a jump ring. Then you do your other one. You'll make a hook, a little loop, your spacer, your bead, and then you take a little bead. Now for the bottom portion, since this is separate, you can use a head pin. Now you can use a regular head pin. They're just straight long pins that you can cut, and they have a little head at the end just like a regular pin, or they have decorative one with beads. If not, you get a little bead so that the big bead don't fall right through it. But if not, use a wire, make a loop, put your spacer, your bead, then a little bead, and then a tiny, tiny hook at the end, very tiny, and then you smash it with your pliers, your flat nose pliers, so that you can barely see it. And that prevents all your beads from sliding, and it gives it a nice finished edge. So you just do that process throughout your whole beading. I make two at a time. First I do my middle. To see how long I want it, I put it on the choker before I add my beads, and I see how I like it and how far it hangs. And then I go ahead and I do the end pieces, which are going to be shorter. You typically don't want it too long, okay? I do them at the same time so that they're the same length. Then I do the other inner end ones, and I do them at the same time, and I do the last ones that are next to the middle, and I did them at the same time. And then I went ahead and configured how I want everything hanging, and when I was happy with the way it looked and hang, I went ahead and did that. Now, if you wanted to bead all the way up, you can, but I kind of like the way it looks with seeing the choker, because otherwise it's too much bead. And then in the ends, if you didn't want this sliding up constantly, you can get some jewelry glue, some clear jewelry glue, like I wouldn't use a glue gun because it's going to dry cakey and lumpy and you'll see it. Get some E6000 clear jewelry glue on a Q-tip, on a toothpick, and just rub some. Pick up the end one, rub some around, not a lot, and then put this down and do the same on the other side and wait for it to dry. E6000 glue typically takes up to 24 hours to dry. So you should do that because this way it'll keep it stable. Now I'm going to show you a different color one. So keep in mind, I got this at Hobby Lobby, and if I have a picture, I'll insert it now of what the package looks like. This is it in green. I'll move it a little further so you can get a better look. Now these beads are a little different. I didn't want to make it exactly like the peach one. I wanted to give it a different variation. Again, I used the choker with the bowl at the end. So again, I used the choker with the bowl at the end, and like I said, you can make your own, and I already explained at the beginning of this video how you do it. And you can make it bigger if you want 16 inches. Now the middle one is just slightly longer than my other choker, but it still doesn't go down to, won't go down too low, because like I said, you don't want it falling in between your cleavage and then it's hidden and you have to fish for it and everybody's looking down your shirt at your necklace. So it works great if you're wearing a shirt that goes up to your collar, but if you want to wear it with like a spaghetti strap dress shirt or a tank top that's low cut, you don't want this falling down in between your cleavage. So be careful of how long you make that. Now this is just slightly longer than the other one. Let me grab that. It's just, like I said, slightly longer. See? But not by much. So just keep that in mind when you're making these. Don't get crazy and think you want these really long ones. Unless you don't care about that, then go for it. So what I did with this, which is better with the jump rings in between, where I didn't do that because those were my first ones. So you want to do the same thing, figure out how or what you're going to put up here. I'm going to put some light on the subject here. And then you're going to get, before you put everything, do your middle one. Okay, it's very important that you do your middle one first to see how everything's going to go, because then these will fall accordingly, because you might make it too short and it'll look ridiculous, or you might make it way too long. You kind of want to make them all uniform. So I got a piece of wire, I made a loop at the end. Let me bring this, I made a loop at the end. Okay, put that on a jump ring. And it's also, it has nice flow, good fluidity in dangling. Then you put a spacer, a bead, a spacer, and you make another loop. Then you get a jump ring. Then you get another piece of wire, and you put a loop, a spacer, a bead, a spacer, another loop, a jump ring, and then repeat that again. And then at the end, you're going to do the one last piece, which you, like I said, you can use a head pin for. You'll make a loop at the end attached to the jump ring. I did this with one of these spacers and these two type spacers, and this is a spacer bead, and then the oval one, and then I put a little bead at the end. And like I said, you can get the head pins that have the beads at the end, or just do what I did. Okay, and then I went ahead and made these two at the same time, these two at the same time, and these two. And see, I made a little piece with the loop, so attached to a jump ring, a bead, a spacer, a bead, a spacer, a loop, a jump ring, then the last part. And the last part, like I said, could be a head pin. And that's all I did for that. And then this one, the second one to the end, I did this much, I looped it. See, I didn't put a spacer on top to make it a little different. And then I attached the bottom part. And then so on. This one's the same, except I put a spacer on the top. See, I just skipped and this one didn't have a spacer on top, but it had one on bottom, just to give it a little bit of different look. And there you go. And that's the green one. And so they have different colors at Hobby Lobby. Like I said, it was $9.99, but they usually have a sale for 50 to 70% off, sometimes 40, but you can always get a coupon, which you can only use the coupon if it's not on sale. So, but they have different colors. They have like the peach, like I said, like this. And they have this green, and they have black, but with the black ones I didn't see any of these oval beads, so I'm not really sure, but they give you different kinds of beads, so you don't have to use the same exact ones. So that's the tutorial for those. And I hope you liked it. And on my next tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this hanging choker